There's a reason why a lot of smart kids struggle socially. It's because they're too smart for their own good. They can show up to school, do their homework in the last minute, and because of that, they realize that their effort doesn't really mean anything. They can just show up and get good grades. And that's the biggest issue. Social skills, they're not the same. They take practice. And he never realizes that being able to execute on these social skills or being able to try is the next path, because he didn't have to try because of his grades. He just showed up and it worked out for him. But that mindset screws him up. He never starts executing. He never starts pushing himself. So he never gets that experience. He never gets progression. He never builds the skills that are so important to be able to have those social skills. Because the gap will continue to get more and more and more wide between him and other kids. Because he's not pushing himself, because he's just so smart. I was in that same state. I thought that people were judgmental, because when I did speak out, I either got bullied or people said something rude to me, and I made it about me, instead of realizing that it was the person themselves. It was not about my own worth. But every time your kid tries and he gets an insult or someone says something rude to him, he realizes, okay, this is who I am. And then he's building the identity that he's not good socially. So he just sticks to what he's good at. He just does his grades, he shows up, he gets decent grades, and what he does after that is just focus on his screens. But then what happens is screens become the main outlet. He starts being on screens right after school. He runs up to his room to just be able to get on them as soon as he possibly can, and it becomes his outlet, instead of actually working on building the social skills and pushing through that awkward phase. Because if he doesn't push through that awkward phase, he's going to be stuck there for a long time. Because the gap is only going to get more and more wide over time. Eventually, him and other kids are going to be such a far gap in between when he does try to pursue it. It's just another experience of, I'm awkward because he says something different or he says something weird. But when they fall in love with effort, when they fall in love with discomfort, they realize that they can do hard things. And that's where confidence comes. When they fall in love with the process. And that's why being able to be confident, to manage themselves, to be able to push themselves through struggles is the defining factor of what makes a kid socially confident. They don't feel like they need to push themselves, especially when gaming is giving them everything that they need in that moment. Why push yourself when you can game online, you can be able to keep up with your schoolwork and stay inside? But at the same time, they start withdrawing from the real world. They realize that, hey, I just need to be able to finish this and then I can come home and do this. And it gets worse and worse and worse the older they get, and eventually they'll wake up, they'll be 22, 23 and have no social skills. That was me. I was around 21, 20, and I was like, I have no social skills at all because I just did the bare necessities in school. And because I didn't really have to study much in high school and middle school, I realized that I never really actually tried before. And because I never tried, I wasn't that good socially. Until I pushed myself and I pushed myself and I fell in love with effort. And when your child falls in love with effort and realizes, okay, I can be able to get better at this. Okay, I want to improve in this specific thing. That's when things start becoming so much better. Because he falls in love with the process of growth. He realizes he can do things. He can improve. And he doesn't just start skating by, because just skating by is boring to him at this point. And that creates the experience that they need to be able to be effective in social skills or be effective with talking to a new group and not holding it to themselves critically that they did something wrong in that moment. So they keep trying no matter what. And when they do keep trying, they come out on the other side confident, being able to handle any situation. And so it's all about falling in love with the process. And when they do, it's all uphill from there. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave me a like, and thank you so much for watching.